Your say. More work required on proposed shared pedestrian and cyclist path. Terry Tovey, Warrandyte Community Association.
Dear Diary, the City of Manningham is planning to build a shared bicycle pedestrian path along the south side of Heidelberg Warrandyte Road from Pound Road to Taruna Avenue as the final stage of the bicycle network designed to bring riders down to the Yarra in Warrandyte. The construction is similar to the recent path east of Mullum Creek near Beasley's Nursery. This path has been the subject of significant criticism by bike path design experts, pedestrians and cyclists, as well as motorists who are concerned about safety, distraction, and the potential for a cyclist coming off the path onto the roadway, particularly for young children. A shared cycle and pedestrian path is required to be 2.5 metres wide, which, after allowing for clearances each side, will mean that a 4-metre swathe will be cut down the south side of the road, significantly altering the visual entry to the township. All of the options for a cycle path from Pound Road to the river present difficulties of one sort or the other, so the task is not an easy one. No option is likely to be perfect. Nevertheless, while the council officers have undertaken considerable work on the proposed route, we have a number of concerns about the proposal as it stands and believe that it needs more design detail so that the community can get a complete picture of its full impact. In addition to this, we need a more thorough exploration of alternative options.
Key considerations.
For any shared path, critical factors to be addressed include user safety for riders and pedestrians, user experience, visual impact, impact on vegetation, scope of works. The proposal as it stands is problematic, considered against each of these factors.
Safety.
Passing traffic will be closer to users than the Beasley section, on a roadway with a curved alignment, steep grade, and 9,000 daily vehicle movements at 60 to 70 kilometres per hour. These issues are of particular concern for children's safety. The proposed path is on the wrong side of the road for a direct connection leading to the Yarra River Reserve at Taruna Avenue. The rest of the trail is on the north side of the road. This means that pedestrians and cyclists will need to cross the high-speed, high-volume Heidelberg-Warrandyte Road twice, firstly near Tyndall's Road and then cross back again near the sports ground. It is not a good connection. For motorists, there will clearly be a distraction with cyclists and pedestrians travelling in both directions so close to the roadway.
User experience.
For all of the above reasons, riders and walkers will not have an enjoyable experience. Unlike the bushy Mullum and Yarra trails, it will be an unpleasant ride with traffic noise, proximity to speeding traffic, and 2 road crossings.
Visual impact.
This path will result in significant visual impact and will change the semi-rural roadway and character which forms a gateway into Warrandyte by extending concrete urbanisation, removing the gravel shoulder, constructing curb and channel, and severely changing the rural rock-cut slope adjacent to the roadway. There will also be significant excavation at the bottom of the path where it connects across to Melbourne Hill Road, where the impact is not shown by the diagrams so far distributed. It is also not clear whether retaining walls will be needed for some sections to contain the cutback, thus increasing the path footprint and the visual impact. If the path requires protective safety barriers, this too will add to the negative visual impact and possibly require an enlarged footprint.
Impact on vegetation.
There will be significant tree loss, yet to be properly assessed, along with the loss of other vegetation. This will be particularly acute where the path needs to go behind the bus bays. Likely erosion on top of the cut embankment will result in continuing tree and vegetation loss over time. In addition to this, risk mitigation may require the removal of further trees adjacent to the track to avoid injury from falling branches. There is a significant section of the path where additional major drainage works are expected to be required, but this, along with the extent of traffic disruption during construction, has not been addressed. The concept drawings do not provide sufficient detail for the community to properly assess the path's impact against all the factors identified here. Furthermore, it is not clear whether other solutions are possible. For example, does the path need to be shared between riders and pedestrians? Cyclist-only paths, possibly following existing roadways, might provide a better rider connection to the Yarra. What options not considered to date might be developed for an acceptable route on the north side of the road? This might be the only possible solution, but a more thorough and creative examination of all possibilities is required before this proposal is adopted. We encourage everyone to take a close look at this proposal. The Manningham Council link below will take you to the project. yoursay.manningham.vic.gov.au/main-yarra-trail.
Community feedback improves results. Doug Seymour, Warrandyte.
Dear Diary, Council has resolved to build this bike path link along the south side of Heidelberg Road. The track is ultimately constructible, but I am concerned at the inadequate information being tabled for residents to provide feedback. My inspection of the route behind the 3 bus stops has identified how upward of 9 significant candlebark and yellow box trees will be cleared along the route. These trees overhang this side of the road and are visually significant. Their likely loss should be publicly flagged. Council's consultation process for the Beasley's bike path followed a similar process with appalling results. Many residents objected to the early Taruna Avenue concepts and better outcomes resulted. I worked with WCA members to attempt to achieve a sustainable design to maintain seasonal hydration for the manigums adjacent to the Everard Drive piped stormwater project. But although Council ultimately agreed with us, they had crystallised their design by the time we were able to comment. I hope residents will have their say while there is still time to influence the design.
Proposed path unsafe and unpleasant. Doreen Burge, Warrandyte.
Dear Diary, this path should not be a foregone conclusion by Manningham Council. Many in Warrandyte are sick of the supposed consultation. We have the WCA to represent the views of those in Warrandyte, and it seems its well-considered views are not being taken into consideration by Council. This is an extremely poor design. It is dangerous, ugly, not in keeping with Warrandyte's landscape, expensive and unnecessary. If this is supposed to be part of the Main Yarra Trail and to be linking the river path to the path at Beasley's, it is the wrong location, and it is not a pleasant option for the Yarra Trail. My main comment is that the whole Warrandyte section of the Yarra Trail needs to be re-examined. The trail follows the river from the city to Mullum Creek, where for some strange reason it diverges across the south boundary of Tikalara and into the back of Beasley's. There the unsightly and dangerous new section proceeds uphill. This section is an accident waiting to happen, with the steepness and proximity to 70 km/h traffic with no separation and protection. Why does the Yarra Trail not do what it's named for and follow the river from the mouth of the Mullum Creek to Pound Bend? This would be an extensive addition, but surely the cost of what is proposed along the Warrandyte-Heidelberg Road would be sufficient for a simple gravel section, similar to that between Tikalara and Westerfolds along the river. Then this trail could truly be called the Yarra Trail. If this change of direction is not feasible, then at least the link along Warrandyte-Heidelberg Road should be on the north side of the road, where there is already a rustic path. Having 2 crossings of this busy road is unreasonable from an aesthetic perspective and from a safety perspective. At least 2 drivers have been killed over the last 20 years coming down the Heidelberg-Warrandyte Road towards West End. This is not a safe section of road for a bike path. It's heavily used by buses and other large vehicles.
Main Yarra Trail project needs a major reset. Open letter to Council. Morris Burley, Warrandyte.
Dear Diary, I am not opposed to the path per se, others may be, but I consider that the current project concept is fundamentally flawed. Strategically, the path needs to be on the north side as it is intended to provide a direct connection between the existing path at Pound Road and Taruna Avenue. Without adequate consultation, a bad decision was made by Manningham some time ago to put the path on the south side of Heidelberg Warrandyte Road beside the roadway. Ever since, Manningham Council has been in an entrenched position and continued to defend this poor decision despite the public seeing the problems and highlighting the issues at every opportunity, both for the location and the details of the proposal. By putting the path on the south side, it will force the longer distance users to cross the Heidelberg Warrandyte Road twice, then travel close to the roadway with inherent risks. Enjoyment of user experience will be minimal. Most of the community concerns, e.g. about road safety, impact on vegetation, path users' experience, visual impact of the roadway, and community impact during construction, are related to the initial poor decision on path location. Solutions to fix issues raised by the public are like putting a band-aid on a problem, without acknowledging the concept itself is seriously flawed. Consultation at the end of 2024 clearly showed the public's preference for a path on the north side. This was acknowledged by Manningham in the notes it issued in February 2025, and where they also said they would prepare a north side option to present for comparison at our next consultation session. Encouraged by Manningham's response, the WCA prepared a detailed submission in February 2025 and then engaged with Manningham to explore other ideas and seek best outcomes for the community. The submission and presentation included an option 3 route on the north side of the roadway that would follow an existing walking track for much of the distance through the area between the road and the residential development, i.e. with greater separation from the roadway. This option would have construction challenges and need a boardwalk for part of the route, but overall would provide a much safer and enjoyable experience for families with children and other users. There would be some loss of trees, but a good designer could manage the alignment, gradient and cross sections to minimise impact on vegetation. Compared with Manningham's option 1, this alignment is more consistent with Manningham's open space and bicycle strategies. We know from experience and the enjoyment of people who use other shed paths in the area, e.g. the Mullen Path and the Main Yarra Trail west of Beasley, that these are relaxed and pleasant areas that people want to use, and which have been built successfully in areas with difficult terrain, trees and sensitive environments. During the WCA meeting with Manningham, the engineers said they would provide alternatives at the next community consultation session. However, they have now made a decision for option 1 on the south side close to the roadway. In the latest consultation notice, they included an option 2 on the north side, all agreed is undesirable, but they also decided not to show or mention the WCA ideas, option 3, nor give people in the community an opportunity to provide input or alternatives. This makes their consultation seem relatively useless, as well as not being open and sharing information with the community. In the Manningham Community Engagement Policy, the approach relating to deliberative engagement indicates transparency is key to an effective process. Manningham officers have been ignoring the community input on route location and simply tinkering with detail to follow a process to implement the project that they want, rather than addressing the fundamental problems and reasons for opposition and properly investigating best solutions and outcomes for a lasting legacy. This is a flawed project that would not pass the pub test. This project needs a major reset and then rethinking, together with proper, deliberative and authentic engagement. What is needed is a project that can be celebrated and of which we and Manningham can be proud.